Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 4th day of April in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Of course, here in the Northeast, it was a beautiful, beautiful spring-like day, not too cold, not too warm. So hope you had a chance to enjoy it as much as I did, and as you do. Every Monday evening, you welcome me into your home so that I might bring you this week's newspaper. And this week's front page is a little bit busy. We have 3 front page stories this week, including the first and main story that North Arlington, the police department, has hired 3 former Patterson police officers to join its force, and 2 of them are women. There has only been 1 woman in the history of the North Arlington Police Department. She retired a long time ago, and now there are 2 more on the force. And the good thing about these hires that North Arlington made, and for the sake of Chief Scott Heddenberg, is that all 3 have already got a bunch of experience on the job in Patterson. They are very well trained, and so they do not have to go through the police academy. Once again, they just come and they start and they do their in-house training. Each will have, from what I understand, a field training officer to give them, teach them the ropes of North Arlington. But other than that, that's it. They're ready to go. So they, I believe, are already on the force and out and in the field. So congratulations to Chief Scott Heddenberg on this good accomplishment, getting 3 already trained officers onto his force and being able to keep up with the retirements and things of that nature that have happened over the last couple of years to his department. So welcome aboard to the 3 new police officers, all 3 of whom are former Patterson police officers. On the right-hand side of this week's front page is a story that Ron wrote about garbage collection in Belleville. The town has switched carriers that will come and pick up the trash. And there's been some sort of controversy in certain areas where the dumpsters in apartment complexes were taken away, not replaced. Things have gotten dirty, smelly in certain spots. But Ron spoke with Anthony Iacono, the business administrator of the Township of Belleville, and the whole situation's been straightened out. You can read about it on page number 1 in this week's edition of the Observer newspaper. Now, the bottom of page 1. This is just as mind-boggling as anything I have ever heard, at least of late. I get the blotter from Captain Tim Wagner on Thursday afternoon. He sends it over. And the first entry was just mind-boggling because the first entry was about a man who allegedly stole a vehicle. Okay, so the car's stolen, and police are with the woman whose car was taken. And they're chit-chatting with her. And when they're having this conversation with her, she hears on the radio that they have spotted the stolen vehicle over on Belgrove Drive, and she's over off of Schuyler Avenue, on the hills in the 2nd Ward. And because of directives that the Attorney General's office issued a couple of months ago, the police were not allowed to chase this car to stop him and recover the vehicle for the woman. The directives are so restrictive that almost all police chases are no longer legal in the state of New Jersey. Now, there are exceptions to the rules, and there are exceptions to the exceptions, and all this other nonsense. But here's the thing. You know, the police are being handcuffed by their own people in the Attorney General for something like this, because when, let's put it this way, if you're an everyday person, you don't realize that police can't chase after your stolen car, right? You think the police are not doing their job when the truth of the matter is they want to go after the car and get it for you, but they can't. And so this whole some of these regulations that Andrew Bruck put out before he left as acting Attorney General are so restrictive that it's making it almost impossible for police officers to be police officers. You know, so when we got this from Tim, my blood boiled. I thought I was reading incorrectly when he said that police had to cut off the chase of the man who had stolen this poor woman's car. It was a 2021 Dodge Durango, and they had to say, nope, go on ahead. Now, here's the part that I haven't told you yet, but you may have seen it because it's on the front page right here. When they finally found this guy, he had 18 hollow point bullets and a gun on him in the vehicle. I mean, come on. Come on. They didn't find him at the vehicle, too. So even better, get this. When they eventually found him, they weren't able to charge him with stealing the car because nobody could identify him. And nobody could identify him because he got away. If they had seen him getting out of the car, it would have been one story, but it wasn't. He got out of the car somewhere else that was not in view of cameras. So this guy allegedly steals a car, goes on a joyride, eludes the police, has hollow point bullets in there, the ones that pierce body armor and kill people, and he winds up getting away with stealing the car. Welcome to America, where criminals are treated better than law enforcement. It just makes absolutely no sense. And I don't care what your thoughts are on the police in 2022. The bottom line is they can't do their jobs properly when they're being handcuffed by the Attorney General's office. This is obscene, folks. It really and truly is. I hope you'll read this story to see what they're up against. It's on page 1. It goes into the inside. But the truth of the matter is you better hope your car doesn't get stolen, because if it is, it's gone. You might as well just say forget about it, because they're not going to be able to chase after them. And then whoever does it gets away with it. It's just, I don't know, add this to bail reform, we're doomed. All right, I'm going to move on to the inside. I've said enough and probably too much already about this situation with the car chases. But Councilwoman Mary Trine de Castro, who was just reelected last year, has been cited by Hudson County for her incredible work during the pandemic. Mary Trine is a nurse, and she did so much volunteer work during the pandemic, and she was honored last week at the Hudson County Women's event for Women's History Month. She was nominated by Councilwoman Carol Jean Doyle, and she won this award, and it's so well-deserved because she does so much for not just the town, but for people who she doesn't even know. So I hope you'll check that out. Congratulations, Mary Trine, on that. The Nutley Police Department thwarted another scam. It was an elderly woman. She's 75 years old. And she went to the bank, was supposed to deposit $40,000 into a scammer's bank account. But fortunately, the bank and police were onto it, and they stopped it before it happened. They told her she had some irregularities with her bank account, and she had to transfer this exorbitant amount of money from her account into the scammer's account. And it's just another example of how these ignoramus scammers keep doing this crap. Folks, you know, whether it's transferred from bank to bank, it's Western Union, it's go buy a Target gift card, this stuff is never legitimate. A bank would never tell a person to make a transfer like that or to buy a gift card. Gift cards don't pay taxes. They don't pay for bail if somebody is locked up. But elderly people continue to fall for this. Folks, we need to do a better job of helping our family members, friends who are elderly, to know that if somebody tells them there's irregularities and they need to transfer money from one account to another, that 99.9% of the time, it's fraud. But congratulations to the Nutley PD for stopping this. They saved this woman from sending $40,000 to probably somebody in India or Nigeria where she would have never seen the money again. Good job by the police and the detectives in Nutley for pulling that off. Kearney Democrats have announced that 2 incumbents will be running, and that is, of course, Peter Santana in the 2nd Ward and Eileen Eckel in the 3rd Ward, but that 2 incumbents, Albino Cardoso and Susan Mccurry, will not be running. We knew Susan wasn't. Well, I just found out that Albino is not running, and there are 2 new candidates who are seeking office in their stead. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I want you to read the story. But with that said, Sidney Ferreira, who ran for mayor last year, is running for 4th Ward councilman now, is going to seek the seat as an independent candidate, which means that he was thinking about running as a Democrat, which would have put him up against the new candidate in the 4th Ward. But he's made a decision to run as an independent candidate so that he doesn't need to worry about getting people who are not Democrats to switch their party affiliation, whether they're unaffiliated or registered as Republicans. So Sidney had written a letter that, unfortunately, for space reasons, I wasn't able to run, but it's on theobserver.com. You could read that, and we have some quotes from it. But he will run as a 4th Ward candidate. So at least one candidate will have an opponent come November. But it doesn't look like in the primary. I think it's just Santana, Eckel, and the 2 newcomers to the race as far as the Democratic Party nomination for the seats go. And I don't think any Republicans have decided to run either. Kearney PD has promoted 2 sergeants and a lieutenant, so I hope you'll check that out. We have an op-ed from Steve Rogers, the former commissioner of Nutley, who says that term limits are a must in this country, and you'll check that out. Not often do I find myself on the same page with Steve, but this is, politically at least, this is pretty good stuff. I hope you'll read it. Jason Bernstein has 3 great stories this week in sports, including a preview of the Kearney and North Arlington baseball teams and the first ever Nutley volleyball team for boys. This is the first time they have fielded a team or courted a team. I'm not sure how you would put that, but check that out when you get a chance. We have been very fortunate to have Jason on board. We miss Jim Haig very, very much. Jimmy, if you're watching, we miss you every day. But we are blessed to have Jason on board as well. Harrison Cancer League has given a proclamation and thanks to Ellen Mendoza, who did a fundraiser for them. We have a picture of the league from a recent meeting. You'll check that out when you get a chance. And also this week, we have a special advertising section for Easter, where places are open on Easter and accepting reservations. Those include Santani in North Arlington, Pete's in Harrison, Picnic in East Newark, Lasoni in North Arlington, and Curiosity by Intrinsic on Midland Avenue in Kearney. So those 5 places have specials going for Easter. So I hope you'll check that out on page number 8. And we also have a full page upcoming. The Archdiocese of Newark Cemeteries are hosting open houses over at Holy Cross Cemetery in North Arlington this weekend. So you'll check that out as well. 2 pages of classified, as always. Looking for a job or an apartment, you're going to find it in this week's edition of The Observer in the classified section, so do check those out as well. That's going to do it for this edition of The Observer Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me as you do every week. Stay warm, stay safe, and we will see you back here 1 week from tonight, of course, unless something else breaks during the course of the week. From the newsroom of The Observer and theobserver.com, Kevin Canessa signing off for now. Hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Good night, everybody.